Yeah, well, I think this Stella.
They underestimate our strength.
No,
That's what I have to say because they're boys' side. Let's say they're boys.
I think that they are all teenagers and we have the same strength. If a stranger comes to you and he scares you to death, you will punch him in the head. You will punch him in the head. No, you will not because you why to go
Because you can't find what you want here.
No, you have to fight.
Yes, fight here for nothing.
No, if we fight, there will
This
be
is the logic that-
in the future. But if we have the easy chance and go,
It's not easy. It's not easy to go.
It's easy to go outside.
You don't have what it needs here. You don't have really.
That's why you have to fight. Fight for what you believe in.
So it's not something completely new. We've talked about quite a few things over the year. Different things, this year, last year, previous years. So I don't think this is something completely different or new, to tell you the truth.
Of course, but nothing especially prepared. Is
Yeah,
that
but
right?
nothing prepared. Nothing prepared at all. Now,
Okay.
we've got the first question on the board here. And it says, are parents always ready to hear what we really need to tell them? Think for a minute.
It depends on the situation. If it is a small problem or we want to hear our voices, to our beliefs. So if they want to hear our beliefs, they might just, they may hear us if it is a small problem, but if it's a problem that it's our fault, they will keep telling us what is the right thing, and we always have an opposing view for this.
Bill, what do you think?
I think that the parents are, if they hear what the big problems are, they'll be happy to know that we told them and that we had the courage to go and tell them what happened, or something bad or something good that happened, and they think that we trust them. It's the little things that usually bother our parents. I mean, you won't see your parent be, I don't know, be so angry about something you did that was really huge, but he will say things like, okay, at least you admitted it, or okay, I'm happy you told me. I'm really angry at you, but I'm happy that you told me about it. But the little things are the things they say, like, you didn't do these things when you were 5, you do them now.
Why does that happen? Why does this actually happen?
Because they think that we are quite responsible to control ourselves and not let the little things happen. And they know that we are mature, but not that much to prevent the big things from happening.
So maybe are their expectations sometimes too high, or for your age, for example? Perhaps do they expect too much of you in terms of behavior? What do you think? Mara?
I believe so, yes. Because sometimes there is a little pressure. But I don't think that it's that bad, because they're trying to help us. So it doesn't bother me at all.
What kind of pressure do you feel nowadays? Do you agree with her, Labros? What do you think? What kind of pressure is there?
I don't feel I have pressure from my parents.
Are you trying to say that there is a perfect relationship? Never fighting? Look, guys, we're not here to write a composition. Okay? We are here to talk about what we really have to say. Okay? So we're not here to beautify things, to make things sound beautiful. There are truths, okay? Come on.
Sometimes there are problems between us, but I can easily solve them.
Okay, what about the pressure that you mentioned before? Do you think that it might not only come from your parents, it could come from elsewhere as well? What do you think, Elizabeth?
I believe that we all feel pressure at times, especially about either our relationships with our friends or how good students we are. We are receiving pressure almost from everything, but not at the same point. So I don't think this is a problem at all times. It can be solved, but sometimes it can be very difficult, and that's why we argue with our parents, because we feel that they expect too much from us, and with the whole situation, that's why we are arguing most of the times.
I think that the problems which are created between family is because of the fact that everyday life is too difficult. We have a really busy daily life, and we're stressed about a lot of things, and we don't know what to do, or we are really stressful, and maybe we have differences with our parents or on some subjects that may come up.
Should we tell them everything? No.
No.
Okay, I think this leads to this question.
Personally speaking, I think that our parents are getting stressed because of their work, their responsibilities. They have a lot of responsibilities to take. So sometimes they don't have the courage to hear. But I think this at this time we don't have to tell them our problems, because they are going to hear us. But on the other hand, when they are relaxed, they have the time to hear us. I think this is a good chance to speak to them more.
You mentioned courage. What is it that takes courage to talk about with your parents? You or anybody, okay?
It may be something embarrassing, so you don't feel you have
Such as, can you name some examples? You or anybody, okay? What could be embarrassing?
I believe that something that we did at school, or that we didn't want to do it on purpose, but came up afterwards, something that they probably wouldn't like. That's what I think is embarrassing.
I don't know, I think mostly what has to do with our life as
Please speak
teenagers.
up, please speak up.
Whatever has to do with our life as teenagers and the relationship we have with other kids, it's
Of the same sex?
not necessary.
Miss Katia is asking really
Exactly. Not
critical
necessary.
questions,
And
huh?
it's-
You think they are difficult, guys. You think they are difficult. They are not difficult for your
It's
parents.
too open now.
Okay.
Can I just give you a word here? Just a word. When you're talking about people of the same age, and you know this word, your peers, okay? If you can, yeah, because that includes friends, boys, girls, anybody of the same age, okay? Elizabeth?
I would like to say that I agree with Katia that the most exciting thing is, thing is when if we have problems with our friends. And we don't want to tell it to our parents because they might want to know that everything is alright, or because we are afraid of their reaction to this. Even though there is no reason for being angry with us, but it's just that we want to keep some things inside and we don't want to let them be known, so this is.
What are their fears? The amazing.
I'm opposing you.
Tell us,
And
please.
probably, especially in personal life, our parents can help us because they know, they are experienced, they have been teenagers. So if we tell them, if we have the courage to tell them, then we will have the chance to know things and be helped.
I didn't disagree that our parents cannot help us. I think that sometimes we don't have the courage to tell to them. If we are going to tell it to them, they are going to listen to us. There is no question about that. But small things prevent us from share our own views and our own feelings, even though it's our closest people.
Maybe they have to face their own fears if you tell them certain things about your friends, for example. Like, what kind of things would you have to keep secret, for example?
Yeah, that's a very...
General examples. So, what are your parents' fears then? What are their fears? Steve?
In my way of thinking, I believe that if we take a low degree in school,
Grades
may not be so good for our parents, so we will not tell it to them.
Yeah, you might want to tell them another time later, 2 or 3 months later. You might want to wait a while until you've gotten over it. And Sophia?
I think that our parents' greatest fear is that we will grow up, we won't be children anymore, and we will have our own lives, we will keep on, and we won't need them anymore.
Do you agree?
I agree with her a lot. As I said, our parents are very afraid that we are going to grow up, and especially if you're an old child and you don't have someone else to have like a baby. And sometimes that's why we can't tell them everything, because they still face us as we were little kids. And sometimes they are overprotective, and that cannot help the situation.
I have to say that sometimes we, children, are also afraid about growing up. Like because,
Is he right? Okay, go on, sorry.
Yes, because we think that we all like our parents' protection, and when we grow up, we have to take our own decisions for our life, and we have to take responsibilities about our own life and organize our personal life.
Is this what you really think or believe, or this is probably what you mostly hear from adults? How can you know?
What do you mean?
I mean, you're talking about undertaking responsibilities when you grow up. How do you know?
It's not undertaking responsibilities, but I think that it is sometimes difficult to take responsibilities. It depends on the character also.
That's true.
The personality of somebody, how strong is somebody.
Yeah, and you have to make conscious decisions.
Yes.
I have an opposing view on this point, because we have to grow up and stay on our feet to take our responsibilities and our decision that will make us a better person, like in a character and in different ways.
Please speak up, guys, so that you can be heard.
As we grow up, we need to build some independence, and our parents, sooner or later, must realize that. We're not 10 years old. We are like, most of us here are 14 or 15, apart from Angeliki.
Do they seem to ignore this, Bill?
It's not that they ignore it, just that they quite don't understand it that much. And if you have an older brother or sister, and they've told you about their past or you have seen it yourself, it's up to you actually to tell them that you need more independence. Sometimes they'll hear you, otherwise they won't.
Do you think your parents want you to be independent?
That actually depends. They want us to be independent, but not go over the limit.
Independent with everybody else, but dependent on them, right? Is that true?
No.
Yes.
They want us to be independent in certain things, but in some other things they don't. I don't think that they don't understand that we grow up. I think that they don't want to accept it.
Sorry, they don't want to accept it, okay? Yeah.
Elizabeth? I would say that we and our parents have the same fears of independence and growing up. We still want their protection, but we want to stand on our feet so as to build our lives. And they are also afraid of that because they care for us. We want their protection, but not in a point that we can't make our own choices.
What are some of their worries? Constantina? What's in there? What are some of their worries? What are they worried about? I mean, we're talking about a lot of things, but what are they really worried about? What really worries them? The fact that they're growing up, or the whole process of growing up? What do you think, Constantina? What worries them?
I think that they are worried about our future. That's why they be good students, because they think that as they were in our position.
Yes, that's right.
So as they studied, or some of them didn't, they want us to be better than them.
Okay, that's right. I think this is a big worry, a great fear. Kyriakos, what do you think? What are some of their other worries?
I believe that they also worried about our friends that we hang out. They want them to know their characters, to be good people, to be good students.
I think this is a key point here. Evstathia?
I have an opposition to what he said about students. Our parents don't always want our friends to be good students, as long as they make us happy and they know how to act with other people. And I think the most important for them is to make us happy, not make us worry about other things.
Nice.
Xenia,
you agree?
The grade is just a number. It doesn't give a character to a person. It's different, the character and the mark that we are given. So I agree with Evstathia, with what Evstathia said.
Yeah, I think that was the first thing that he said too. I think the first thing that Kyriakos said was that your parents want you to have friends who are decent, that was the very first thing he said. Elizabeth?
A main worry is, depending on what everyone said, that they don't want us to get hurt and to make big and serious mistakes. Otherwise, I don't think they would feel so stressed about our future life. If we make the correct choices now, it will be easier for us to build a better life afterwards. And I think this is the great spirit, that we don't get hurt because they want our safety.
I would like to ask you a question, but I would like to hear a sincere answer from you. Okay, you know I don't like easy things.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are your points of view, according to the fact that your parents are present?
No. Up to a point.
Up to a point. I appreciate your frankness, you're being true. Yes?
I said what I want to say.
Because everything is so beautiful, so decent. No disorder.
Miss.
What a splendid, what a beautiful world.
I said what I want to say.
Okay?
Because of it, my mom doesn't not understand English, so
Just take a second. Okay, yes, Mara wants to say something. Come on.
These are nothing to do with my parents.
Of course, sweetheart.
I'm afraid of them. And I want to say something here that is not true in real life.
Mara, when I said that, I didn't mean that you want to hide things, but I mean you are embarrassed sometimes to talk about things that your father, parents may hear, or you don't want to talk about them public, although you talk about them with your parents. That might be happening.
Probably our parents may learn about our fears.
Right. Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
No, absolutely not.
Yes, yes, George.
Where children do?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes. Stella, you've said nothing so far. Come on. About what? About the weather.
It's cold.
About the weather. Okay, come on, Stella. Is everything all right? Tell me some reasons. Tell me some reasons. Tell me a reason you may have a fight with your parents.
no.
You don't want to?
That doesn't happen.
Oh, okay.
But when it happens, is most of the times about silly.
First of all, are you tired? Now, right now, are you tired?
Sort of.
Come on, Stella, come on. You see? There she is. Okay.
With a gun.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, all right.
No, I don't fight with my parents all the time or something like that. But when I do, it's mostly my mistake. I actually...
You mean it? That it's your fault?
Look, during the fight, I believe that I am right. But afterwards, I understand that they are right.
That's a good point.
Is that you're very nervous on the time
I always fight with my parents about what time I have to return back home. The last time I returned back home at 11 o'clock at night. I didn't go at any parties, any walks with my friends for 1 week.
Yeah, what are some other reasons for, I think this is a common one, what are some other reasons for what? Fights? For fights between teenagers and their parents. Can you happen?
Sometimes because we don't organize our works we have to do. For example, we have to do our homework at that hour.
We hear nothing, generally. Please. Not only from... Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much for telling us. And tell us again if that happens again. Please, guys, we have to see to it.
up.
We have to see to it.
I said that
Do you need the microphone?
Speak up. If you don't want a microphone, out of the question.
Okay.
My voice is very loud.
I think that we usually fight because we are not organizing ourselves. For example, we have to study and we don't, we do something else. Then we have to study late and we want to do something else then too. That's the main reason.
When you organize your time, it can be a great source of conflict between you and your parents.
That's
Yeah.
sometimes when our parents tell us to do something and we don't get, and then they think that we are lazy and we don't take responsibility, we do something serious.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't usually know.
Okay, don't worry, I keep it for you, don't worry.
I don't usually fight with my parents, but when I do, it happens only for very small things. And when I say that, I mean, why didn't I do the housework or something like that? Not big problems.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes.
I think I have to fight with my parents, seriously, for 4 years. Yes, we haven't fought. Yes.
What do you think the reason for this is? How have they managed to bridge the generation gap? Is this what it is?
I'm sorry, but I have the answer for you.
Okay.
We never had a generation gap, but
That's great.
I was always responsible. Every time I thought something.
This is a very
For
good
example,
point.
when I go out with my friends, I know that I will have to come back at 10 o'clock.
And you are right.
So, for example, if I want to stay a quarter
Later, yes.
later, yes, I have to call so as to let him know, because I know he worries about me. Especially if it is late at night.
I go out with my friends and I have to return, for example, at 9 o'clock. And I know I have to return, but I don't want. I like being with my friends. So,
Are you talking about the weekends or during the week? The weekends. The
for example, if I am in Assos and I have to return, I see the clock that says 10 minutes before 9, and I start running from home.
For example, this is a question I'm curious now, okay? I think a problem nowadays is that a lot of different parents have a lot of different standards. For example, Labros here has to be home at 9. His friend, I don't know, maybe whoever, has to be home at 11. What kind of conflicts and chaos does this create in it? Imagine your parents. What can they do? How can they manage something like this? And this, come on, somebody else here. Efsafia.
Sometimes they can put aside their standards and let us, for example, go out for a long time, so as not for us to feel that we don't have enough time with our friends, so that we're not mad at them. And some other times, we will keep our word and be back at a reasonable time for them.
Okay. A reasonable time for them, not for you.
I believe that it all has to do about trust, if they trust us, because if you say to them that I will go there, and they know that you will be there, if you are late an hour or half an hour, it doesn't matter for them, because you know that you are safe there.
This is a very important issue, all right? Being trustworthy. Okay, but I mean, being trustworthy, yes?
Miss, trust has nothing to do with the time that you return. I mean, if you say
Do you agree?
if they say that you have to be at home at 10 o'clock, you have to be at home at 10 o'clock. If you come back at 11, they will be worried and they will be right to be.
Okay, is there something different?
Because if you go out 2 times and you arrange with your family to return at 9 and you return at 9, they will give you a bonus half an hour for trust. It's not that you have. So it's not.
We don't trust in this way. Labros.
So if you do it for 4 times, then their parents will need to return at 12 o'clock.
That's a good point.
I have to say about this that it's not the fact that they don't trust us. They are afraid of the dangers they might have at their time. I mean, there's a lot of perverts going on at streets. There are a lot of criminals. I think this goes more to the girls. As boys can defend ourselves much easier than girls. We have more physical strength. And
anything in English, Mark, get your grip.
And more physical strength than girls, so we can defend ourselves. Usually, if we go with other boys or stuff like that, I don't think there's going to be that much of a problem of something happening. Yeah, if I were a parent, I would definitely be anxious about what is going on with my child, and I would like him to come back early. But if I see that he's at a grown age and can defend himself, and he's mature enough to know what's wrong and what's right, I would let him stay up a half an hour.
I believe that we're not actually needs to know that. To know if we're capable of doing something like that. I mean, we're not capable of returning at 12. Because
I didn't say
after
that,
10,
I said 10:30, 10:30, over 11 o'clock. It depends on what you have to do. If you tell them I'm going to be with my, I don't know, with one of my friends, they're going to let you be early because you can see your best friend every time you want. But if you go out with a lot of people, they say nothing's going to happen, and they might leave you an hour.
nothing's going to happen.
If you are 15 people.
Okay, yeah, you know what? This is becoming a one-sided. Even I'm looking in this direction. Yes, people. Wait a minute. People. Okay. Okay. Labros, Diamidis, Maria, you've all said something. Okay, Agnes, what do you think? What is your opinion about this?
Okay, get prepared. Okay, get prepared now. Because they've been meaning to say something. Get prepared, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so I want
this is
2 or 3 people. Elizabeth had her hand up for quite a while there.
I want to say something.
And please disagree. That's what you're here for.
Yes, I would like to.
But they keep agreeing with it. That's the point.
I would like to kind of disagree with what Sophia said.
Sophia.
What did I say? When you said that in the time to spend with our friends, our parents may put some limits to us because they want to spend more time with us. And that's why. I think this is the main reason.
Their selves.
Our parents want to spend time with us.
I don't actually think that they want to spend time.
At a point, but
To a certain extent.
to a certain
To a certain extent. Like for just 1 minute, for some language here that can help you a little bit. It depends, and to a certain extent, you don't completely agree with the other person. You don't completely disagree, okay? So, to a certain extent, what somebody said may be true or correct, but...
According to my thoughts, especially fathers,
With girls.
are really overprotective. Yes. And I think boys are more free to go out without having a strict limit. Girls are more have to protect them.
tend to be strict.
Yes, tend to be more strict than boys, especially
Isabella.
as a brother or sister.
I disagree with Florida because my father isn't as strict as my mother. My father let me stay as my friend until 9:30 o'clock. But my mother, if I come back at 9 and 10 o'clock and she believes that I don't hear what she says, and I always want to do my
Miss, I disagree with Floresita, because I think that both girl and the boy are kids. So I think it depends only on the parent.
And now here comes a very important question. Do you think that parents raise their kids in a different way depending on their sex, if they are boys or girls? Do they raise boys different from girls? Yes?
Yes, not only the sex, but also the age. For example, my sister, I was born 5 years after my sister. So my parents had the courage to go for walks, parks, while my sister was growing up. And my mother wasn't working. When I was born, my mother started working, and my father was older than he did 5 years before. So they wasn't so careful with me, walks and things like that. But I never complained about this, because that's the age. They couldn't do something else.
Yes, Kyriako?
Yeah, that because I believe they feel more free with the second child. They have get used from the first one, so they are more...
They feel more experienced, I think.
They feel more experienced as parents. They are. Yes?
Apart from the age, I think that my parents put more endeavor to my brother, so as for him to go better to school, or like they protect him more. I think that they protect him more than me. Because
as a boy, because he's a boy?
As a boy and he is older than me, I don't often go out with my friends. I probably stay home at the weeks when he
weekends, you mean, or
no,
the weekdays?
The weekdays when, for example, it's Wednesday and he hangs out with his friends and I'm staying home. I think that this is an important difference. Also, for example, about the time that we have to return back home, when I said that, for example, I have to return at 10 o'clock, I may come earlier, or I come from home. I return home 10 o'clock, because my friends also they do not live here. They live in Nazaré, and they have to take the bus and return to their home.
So, to be frank with you, okay, let's go on. Yes.
I believe that it also has to do with the character of our parents, the character. Because if they are strong characters, they can teach us to be strong as well, and they can also believe more in us, and they can let us be more free in our choices. If they are very worried and very protective about us, they are not going to give us the same freedom that we want, and that is it's a point that we are different.
Yes,
when there's a second child, the parents already know that in some restrictions they put, there will be reaction, so they try to not be so strict with the second child, and will keep more softly to it, so that they don't have arguments with them.
So it's the firstborn child that takes the whole...
Yeah, always.
And especially if it's an own child.
Yes. But is there any difference between boys and girls in the way they they raise their kids? Somebody who hasn't said enough?
I haven't spoken.
Okay, wait a minute, people. George, Agnes, Stella, Dolores.
Are you here for this? Come on.
I personally believe that that the parents raise the girls more carefully because they.
In what sense? In what sense more carefully?
They protect them more. So.
What are they afraid of?
Miss, why don't we let our parents take participation in this debate?
If they speak English, yes, I would be glad if they did. How many of you speak English, by the way? 3, 4. You're very kindly we're very happy to accept you in the conversation.
Okay, can I ask something?
Sure.
Okay, is the time you return home the only thing that matters?
No.
Very good question.
I want to know the thing.
Okay, okay. Okay.
My parents.
Yes.
Actually, what they do care about is with whom I am when I am out. I mean, if I am with my older cousin, I could return a little bit later. But if I am with children, with girls, I have to return earlier. Or if we are boys and girls, then they are more.
Even worse.
No. Why? Actually, it's better. It's better to have boys in the company.
Boys are better.
Yeah, okay. What is your explanation, Mara? Why do you think there is this difference in a reaction when you are with girls, when we are with your cousin, and when you are with different kind of company, anyways?
No, it's probably the trust. I mean, my cousins, they know him for the whole life. So
of course.
They know who he is, and my friends as well. But it's about the age, I believe. It's about the age and how experienced is each person.
Oh, I would say, yes, Miss Likudi. Miss Likudi wants to say.
Miss Likudi would like to say to Mrs. Maro that the bigger the company, the safer my child.
Exactly.
I don't care if you are with Kyriakos, if you are with Maria, if you are with Miss Linda, and Miss Albert. If you are 20 together, I am the happiest mother. If you are only 4 children, I don't feel safe.
And girls.
Especially only girls. Only girls.
Guys, boys, I very much appreciate that, but please, sorry, not time. No, sorry, thank you.
Oh no,
thank you.
These boys can protect girls.
And
if there is a fight, let me
Guys, we need your reaction, but after he has completed with his thought, okay?
Yes, look, if there is a fight, for example, who will fight? Girls?
Yeah, well, I think this Stella.
They underestimate our strength.
No,
That's what I have to
this is
say.
not
Because
the
they're
boys'
boys.
side. This is the
Let's
boys'
hear
side.
I think that they are not teenagers and we have the same strength. If a stranger comes to you and he scares you to death, you will punch him in the head. You will punch him in the head. No, you will not do that because you are scared.
If he takes out the knife.
If he was a kid, if he was with the feeling voice, what he's going to say?
And if he has a gun with him or
You will all feel this is a gun.
You will be scared as girls. Because these boys are nostalgic.
Now, please, let's get back to order, please, okay? Because we have to be able to hear you. I like us very much, but we have to be able to hear you. So, Stella, sorry.
I'm not sure if I heard it correctly, but personally speaking, I don't believe that if you are, for example, in a group with boys and girls, your parents will feel, let's say, safer. That okay, they're also boys, nothing will happen. Okay, if you think it better, actually that depends on the age. For example, there are girls 13 years old and boys are 18 years old. I mean, seriously, you won't feel safe either. I mean that, okay, if they're a group of boys and girls in the same age, then okay, our parents are going to feel safe. But if they're boys around 18 years old, 20 years old, I mean, seriously now.
Different age.
Florcita, they have to go with the muscular tall man. Both girls and boys would be afraid.
Okay. Maria.
Yeah.
Say something.
Yes, I wanted to say that age is something that makes our parents feel safer or not. If you are with a group of people who are your friends and they know them and they are older, they will feel, I think, more safe than if you are with a group of people that are in your age. And our parents don't be afraid of what we are going to do. They're not afraid of our reactions, but they're afraid of what other people do in the streets, strangers. They don't.
Or
it's not the
same company.
Yes. They don't trust us. They don't trust them.
I want to say that parents aren't only concerned about our company, but the place where we are.
Yes,
I mean, if we're in a house, they're just okay. They're in a house. There are parents there. But if we're out and we're just walking, they're not certain about where we are or what we're doing. What can happen?
Isn't she right? She's got a point here.
If we're in the house, they will let us be there a little longer, and they will be more relaxed.
You say that you call your mother. Hey, I'm in a house in Piraeus. Okay, children.
I don't have friends in Piraeus. If you have to go. No. Yeah, and where are you really? You're in somebody else's house. In another area.
This boy has a great sense of humor, yes.
Yes, I want to say something about what Stella mentioned before. I have to say that when you are a 13-year-old boy or girl and you hang out with people who are nearly adults, then it's your responsibility. While you are a teenager, you know what can happen if you are with a group of people who are 5 years older. And also your parents have to know your relationships with people.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean...
Agree with Diomedes?
No, I agree with Diomedes, but he starts discussing about something else. Actually, personally speaking, I don't think that our parents are going to let us hang out with people who are older, much older than us.
But if they know the people who are 5 years,
they don't even trust the people who are in our age.
If you're with your brother,
if it is a cousin or something,
if you work with
cousin's family, if it is
a brother or sister's friend, then they trust them.
Yes,
me.
I have friends that are older than me. Friends. Okay, I talk to them. I hang out with them sometimes.
Do you hang out with them?
Okay, we don't talk every day.
So that's what I say. When you hang out, you go for walks.
It's not bad. For example, in my team, there's a guy who is 20 years old. She wouldn't have a problem to let me go out with him.
But she will have some concerns.
I know.
And his parents.
That's something else. Especially the parents' relationships are good.
But
That's something else.
But even then, our parents won't be 100% that, okay, my kid is going to be safe.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah, either they're not going to be safe when you hang out with teenagers, with people in your age. They're not going to be safe.
Asthma, it depends on how much you know the person, but even though you know him for many years, you're going to have the worry that are they doing what they really told me, or is there something else going on?
I don't
No,
think
if it is a boy and a girl, like hanging out, then I wouldn't be
you're
sure.
50% that.
But if it is like a big girls and boys, a big company, then I would be.
it's not always about relationship. There are some friendships between boys and girls.
Yeah, I agree.
We have discussed.
That can't be a serious friendship between a boy and girl.
Okay, now you start another.
Sorry.
That I believe.
Move back.
Now, let me make another point. Sometimes parents speak different languages.
That's very explanation.
That is similar. Could you make yourself first?
And they actually do act in a different way from speaking. They say, you must do this, you must do that, you must behave properly, when they actually don't. Is that true?
Yes.
Let's discuss it.
I don't know.
I don't like the subject.
Jacob?
We fully agree about the language, that we speak different languages, because with all these video games, or not only video games, when we go out and stuff, we learn. We used to add to our talk different new words that they don't know. And for example, if you say to your mother,
Slang. Okay. Yeah. That's very English.
I would like to say about the second thing you said.
Okay.
I think that sometimes parents know that they are not right and they don't behave as well as they wanted to, but they expect us to be right because they want us to be much better than they were or they are.
Labros?
For example,
do you agree on that?
Yes, I do agree. My father always tells me not to smoke. And the moment he's smoking.
Yes, he said it to you because he don't want you to do the wrong thing that he did.
The same mistakes.
Yes.
And if you,
especially for smoking.
and if you start smoking, then there's no going back.
There is going back on his 30 years old.
Because he's not.
Please. Yes?
Yeah, but if they make a mistake and they tell us not to do it, and they're not trying to fix their own mistakes, how can we know how to avoid something?
That's That's a good point.
If they still do the same mistake and they don't try,
how do we know that it's a mistake at all?
Yeah.
I would like to say something else.
Okay, that's another good point. How do we know? Do we know
How
when
do we
something
know
is
if
right
it's
or
right?
wrong?
How do we know?
It
How
depends.
do we
It's
know?
the inner voice in us that tell us do it or don't do it.
Means it depends.
Don't we know what is right or wrong?
Sometimes I have to ask my mother for advice.
Of course,
I can't
yes.
deal with some
Of
situations.
course.
Nick.
Yes, please.
When I fight with my parents and I am right.
I know it.
And you think you're right? And in your opinion, you're right?
My parents don't accept it.
True story.
I keep saying that I am right, I am right.
And how do you end up the conversation?
I say sometimes I don't.
Sometimes
I don't. But I understand that I'm not right. And
So you're not right.
So you was right. So what?
And I ask sorry to my parents.
You know, this reminds me of the boss is not always right, but he's always the boss.
Oh yeah, I saw this film. I saw this film. Oh, what am I talking about? I saw this film, and there was a king, okay, in an Arab country, and there was a hospital there, and a lot of doctors, and the doctors had saved all of the city from the bubonic plague, a very serious illness. But the doctors who had done all the work had to bow to the king. And he said, you know what? If life was fair, I would be bowing to you. But life is not fair, and that's why you're bowing to me. So this is a very interesting point.
I'm the boss, nobody.
Yeah.
I love my parents.
You do, eh?
We all love them.
Without them, we wouldn't be here right now.
Everyone loves them, but nobody wants them. we want our independence.
Okay.
How much though? To what extent?
We need them for money. In some
To what extent?
But there are no money.
I would say something about previously. You said something about smoking and the dangers. And when the parents say you have to do this and this, I have been given advice by my parents. I hear what they say, but look, if I want to do something, if I want to smoke, I will smoke.
Of course.
I have to think myself what is right and wrong for me. I know there are plenty of advertisements and the doctors say things that we don't have to smoke, but if children heard parents always, then there will be no, yes, no one would smoke. But that's why we have our life, and we sometimes, either in this age or when we're adults, we have to think by ourselves and not depend always on what our parents say or our grandparents.
Miss, I want to say something.
Yeah.
That if children are determined to do something, I believe that they will do it one way or another.
No.
It's just whether their parents say that it's wrong or right, they will do it.
Means, if we want to do something, we will do it.
Okay, somebody else from the audience.
I want to tell you that it's much more difficult to correct a mistake, like stop smoking, than to avoid it.
You learn from those.
Starting it in the beginning.
Yeah, once you've started,
it's a big
it's hard
mistake.
to, yeah.
So,
It's too hard to stop.
it's
Once something's begun.
Am I
How
speaking?
do you know that they don't try? Maybe you don't see them trying, but they're
Parents,
It's
it's
just
the basis.
possibly right.
We have to...
It is not easy. It's
Stop
smoking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes?
I think that sometimes making mistakes, not like smoke, I think it doesn't matter. You are going to learn from that mistakes.
Right, yes.
I agree with the
And then Kyriako, it's you. Yes.
I agree with the Gillian. It's
Yes.
by giving us advice, okay,
English,
we
please.
may be able to avoid making some mistakes, but we will make mistakes, so it's not worth arguing about this.
Life didn't come with instructions.
Because there's no point.
Life didn't come with instructions.
I believe that the whole point is not the parent to tell you don't smoke, is to make you understand that smoking is bad. If you tell them, if they tell you stop smoking, I want, for example. But if they make you feel that it is bad, you stop.
Teachers tell us that if parents say all the time, don't do that, they will do that, children.
It's
As a reaction,
Yes.
okay? Because you're teenagers and you need to follow a different, yes?
It's more tempting.
It's more
Tempting when you
tempting, yes?
when you don't know many things about something, but you hear all the time, don't do this and don't do this. You would want to know.
Do you agree? Do you agree on that?
What it is like to
Yes.
do it. But then, if you have done it, the mistake is done. You can't return back, and the consequences are going to come later. And maybe the situation has worsened by the time you realize it, and it is even more difficult to stop it. Whatever you have done.
When I was younger, I used to be really strong-minded. Like, my parents told me something, and I always did the opposite thing. But I really regretted that, and I've learned, I get influenced by my parents, and this way I learn what is good and bad for me. For example, smoking. I know that I will not do that, because I don't like that.
Because you grow up.
Yes, I don't like it.
I don't like
Yes,
it.
proceed,
I
Woody.
would like to ask something. Okay? All of the children.
Yes.
And I would like to answer first those who have said nothing.
Very good.
No, really.
Yes, okay.
I smoke.
Yes.
I was a very naughty teenager. Really, this is super. Really. I returned later on the time that my parents told me. I did all those things. Okay.
Appreciate her frankness.
She knows that.
Okay.
She already knows that. I did it, okay. Sometimes it was lucky. I returned home very well. Sometimes I was not that lucky. I returned home with something missing, with different feelings.
Problems you wouldn't show, probably.
Not very happy feelings. And it was a different age, and I couldn't speak with my mother and my father then. Okay, I couldn't say, you know, I got drunk and somebody put something in my drink, and now I can't wake up the next day to go to school. So, I couldn't say that. If I said I will not go to school, it was the second nuclear war.
Generation change.
So, you think that I did these things. First of all, I shouldn't tell my children not to smoke, because I smoke. Second, should I tell my children, do anything you like, go everywhere you like, drink as much as you like, with everyone you like, okay? Make friends with everyone you like. Okay?
No, they like.
You think that that thing.
No.
And why are you annoyed? We have to tell them, to tell these things. We feel that we have to tell those things. We say 100, you keep 1. It's good for us.
Would you like to say something?
I think we mentioned.
Okay.
I would like to say that I agree that yes, they should tell us because they are responsible for us and it would be good for us to hear it. But if the situation is for those, they sometimes can understand why we want to do those things, what forces us to do such things, and they can understand that it's very difficult to avoid these things.
It's now.
Okay. I agree with what Maria said, and I also think that especially our parents have made mistakes previously, and they try to persuade their children not to do them.
Make the same mistakes. Let me ask a different question.
Is it a difficult one?
Sorry?
Is it a difficult one?
No, never difficult.
Never say never.
Well, the header is respect in the family.
What?
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask you to talk about whether you respect your parents. I take it for granted that you do. I'm going to talk though about the opposite thing. Do they respect you?
My parents, yes, they do. I don't know about her, but
sometimes, and not always, I hear things. And what does that mean? How do you perceive, how do you understand respect within the family?
George?
Just some ideas to give you privacy. Do they respect your privacy?
Yes.
Do you expect them to respect your privacy?
Yes.
Do they respect you?
Yes.
Yeah, wait a minute here. One moment. Come on, George and Regulus. I'm sure that you can talk about this. What does respect mean within the family unit?
I believe that the parents should respect us because we respect them too. And it is granted that we should respect them. So I think that it is right for them to respect us too.
And what does this mean to you? How do they show that they respect you?
By respecting your privacy.
Your privacy, yes.
Agnes, what do you think? How do they show that they respect you? What do you think? Should they respect you?
The most important thing is the privacy, and when you don't want to talk about something, they must not tell you to do it because they are the old ones and because you must hear them. We are at an age that we want some privacy. This is our level that we became not adults, just that we learn life more and stuff like this. And so it's an important step for us, and they have to let us not to make mistakes, just learn some things.
Okay.
Not smoke.
Do you expect to have privacy and respect, right?
Miss, can I say
Do you respect their respect? Do you always respect their respect?
Miss, I want to say something.
George.
I believe when we respect them, they will respect
us
us
back.
too.
Do you agree, George?
Why we must always respect our parents and they are not always respect us?
Okay, that's the question. That's what the question is.
I understand that they are older and they know many things, but why?
Okay, but that's a good point. Please talk on that.
Because they learn that if you are older you must respect them because they...
Is the age the only reason why we should respect people?
No. No, miss. My mother, if we are chatting and then I get angry with her and I want to say my opinion, she doesn't let me to do this because she says that she is right and that she is older and I must respect her and not take my opinion that I want.
Miss, can I say something?
Of course.
I am trying to believe that understanding and respect are interrelated. Because if you don't understand, if you don't realize the needs that the other person has, you can't respect.
Lovers?
I want to say something that said Isabella. If you don't say how you feel to your parents, then you won't change their minds.
I want to take you a little bit back to the original question. We are expected to respect them, okay? And are they expected to respect us?
Yes. We're human beings.
What if we break this law, this order? What if we don't trust their respect?
What do you mean?
The consequence.
What if we break...
What happens? What happens?
Yes.
What should happen?
What happens?
If we don't honor their respect, actually, that's the right thing to say. Yes, Iago.
If we don't honor their respect, they will stop respecting us, and then we will fight, and then we will stop being that free. They won't allow us.
That's
it will
true,
be a mess.
but what actually really happens?
There will...
Do we really
no
want...
communication.
Right. We expect them probably to trust us because we want to take advantage of it. No. Never. Sometimes we try to secure their trust and then we break it.
This is not about respect, it's about trust.
Of course. And yeah, okay, we have to believe we trust them. They can trust us, and as soon as they trust us, we behave in a different way. Is that right?
No.
Never? Okay. Yes.
It depends on somebody's personality.
Of course.
And somebody's friendships. Especially if, for example, I hang out with people who always do what you said with their parents' trust, then they will encourage me to do so. But if I am a strong character, with a strong personality, I won't let these people influence me, but I will try to influence them.
This is what this is my...
Yeah, what you said before. Yeah, okay?
Everybody knows that if you take advantage of someone's trust, they will probably not trust you then. So you will lose this advantage you had, and your relationship with them will be awful. And they won't let you do anything. They won't trust whatever you say them, even if you are completely honest with them, they won't trust you.
Yeah.
So why ruin this?
Yes, Jen?
It depends if you have made a promise and you break it, like a strong promise. So yeah, a person might not trust you again, but if it's not a big deal, so why can't I give a second chance?
Maybe you're afraid to give second chance. Maybe you're afraid to give second chance because you don't want to get hurt again. But even if, according to what Katia said, she said that they will not let us do things. Even if they let us do things, then we will know that they are doing this because maybe they are tired of hearing us pleading them, and you would be unhappy to know that even if they say yes, even if they say no, they still have some things against us. So this is what hurts the most. To know that they are tired of listening to us, and so they have no choice but let us go, and there's nothing we can do because we can't easily gain their trust again.
Yeah, but if you are a nice personality and
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
Mr. Speaker has to say something.
Go ahead.
I wanted to add that if someone don't trust you, trust can be built again. You can tell him, sorry, it wasn't my fault, and by the time passed, you can build trust again.
Can I ask a question? I just want to ask a question, one moment. Okay, she just mentioned, Elizabeth just mentioned the fact that our parents, anyway, it's not mine, but your parents, maybe and mine, maybe mine, I don't know. Who's ever left?
They know. Both parents and the parents know that we take their sides in order to be able to talk about it. So yes, when we say our parents,
because I try to imagine myself way back when I was 15 years old.
Okay, do they just get tired of listening to you, or do they have to face reality?
They have to face.
Okay, and is this the reason why they eventually give you more freedom? Because they just see that they have to.
This is because maybe they still love us and don't want to make us more unhappy than we already are. It's not always that they are tired, but because even though they are angry with us, even though we broke the trust between us, they love us, so they don't want us to make us.
Perhaps though they're trying to hold on to you as long as possible as children, but slowly they have to let go. Do you mean?
Whenever I am angry with my parents, for something serious or not, then I am thinking that, well, I will be a parent. And
very mature you are, eh?
Yeah, full of maturity.
I will be a parent, and I may do so. I may have the same worries, and I don't know, because people change.
So you mean you stand in their shoes?
Yes, I try to do this because this is difficult.
This is
especially because I am a teenager at the age of example. And
do you think your parents do the same thing?
That's a very good question.
Less than I try to do. Believe me. Yes.
Think so? Is he right? What do you think? Do your parents put themselves in your shoes? No, I'm asking you. Guys, I'm asking you because what really matters is what you think they do. It's not what they do. They do what they do. The question is, what do you think they do? I said, it doesn't really matter what your parents do. It does matter, though, what you think they do.
I personally don't know.
So, I'm asking you again.
We can't know you that.
What do you think? The question is, what do you think? Do you think they stand in your shoes?
Well, I can say that as long as we try to, they have been, but they have been in our situation. We haven't been in their position. So it's more difficult for us to try to feel like how they do. But sometimes they don't try to understand us. They sometimes forget that they were in our age, and that can make communication really hard.
Very good. What else may parents forget?
As we grow up, their current position makes them forget the responsibilities. How much they love us, and they don't want us to get hurt.
Okay. Do they ever forget to say Thank you.
No.
Or I'm sorry.
Or I'm sorry.
They never. I'm sorry. Never.
Do they never say I'm sorry?
No. They say when they think that they have to.
Do they sometimes forget to say, well done?
No.
Yes.
Or I love you every day.
That's another important question.
They never forget what she's done.
Guys,
I believe that they never forget.
Guys, we don't have to agree, okay? Some people do, some others don't. Okay?
We think that they try to get themselves into our shoes.
We can't hear, sorry.
Okay.
I don't think that they try to put themselves into our shoes. They just try to remember how their life was when they were like us. And how their world was, how briefly.
But
How briefly.
what has changed since then?
Yes.
Their life was
Louder, please.
their life was different.
In what sense?
Everything.
So when you are asked to do something, do you mean you have to do it in their terms? In the terms they
Sometimes yes.
used to have to do it?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
It depends on the situation, how serious you're not.
Okay. So, are you insinuating, are you hinting generation gap that they don't understand? Yes.
What does principles mean?
Principles, rules that we...
Okay, principles has changed since then.
Okay. Of course it has. Everything has changed. But what really remains untouchable is the love for you. So this is what forces them to adjust.
Is the way they express it has changed.
The way they express it has changed. In what way? In what sense? Katia?
That some years ago, when our parents were children, I didn't think that their parents showed their love so often than our parents did.
So of time, what you're saying? Do you think it is a question of time?
They didn't used to say I love you so often.
Yes. Their parents used to be a lot of stricter. And by showing their love, they thought that their children might not listen to them, not obey them, and they didn't want that. It was heavy, it was not different, and I think that some of their behaviors, they weren't that right in the truth, because children need to know that their parents love them, so as to help them more. If they don't know it, it's very difficult for them to trust them.
So everything has to do with the way they express themselves as far as time is concerned, okay? Things have changed concerning the way they show, they express their love and their affection. Yes?
Always, children know that their parents love them. It's not in love. We just want to hear.
We want this.
We want to hear it over and over again.
So I ask you
Okay, we especially change views of that. Okay?
about it.
Sorry?
We want to be secure in the obvious. We don't know. We just want to be sure. And this does not only happen with our parents, it also happens with our friends. Parents, they never stop loving their kids. But even when we are fighting, like I'm fighting with my mother, for example, she tries to teach me the right thing. And if the
this is the right way.
Yeah, and about this, I know that it is, because I know that I'm wrong sometimes.
So what?
But I'm pretty strong-minded and I always want to defend my opinion, whatever.
You're stubborn.
Yes.
So you never have the right opinion.
What?
You never have a right opinion,
Sometimes, but it depends on my belief and my mother's or my father's belief. Like we have different opinions on a situation or something. Like to sides, like to one side I may be right, but to another side I may be wrong. As long as an individual watches that, we have different opinions, right? And everyone sits with his or her own side.
Yeah, that's another question now. Do we always have to agree with our parents?
No. I mostly don't. But because we are different, we are different.
Even though we are not exactly the same friends as our parents, we have taken some things from them, so it is not so difficult to agree with them, although it's more easy to disagree. It's not that happens sometimes. It isn't so difficult to agree with them if we know that they are right and we want to accept that we are wrong. Although this is the difficult part, to accept that we are wrong and we are right.
Okay. Yes,
I believe that the why we are disagreeing all the time is because we have gone through different periods. For example, it is more easy to disagree with an older people than a person in your age. The person your age knows better what...
you may disagree, but about different subjects, yes.
Things have changed a lot.
Yes.
That disagreeing with our parents is not bad, because from that they can understand our thoughts and our opinions.
Right. Okay, now, you know, I always enjoy being with you. Have I ever come to you? But I would like, before we end up this lovely discussion, I would like to ask you another thing. Sometimes parents have a direct influence on your career choice. Sometimes parents, I haven't asked the question yet, this is an introduction. Sometimes parents have a direct influence on your career choice. How far is this acceptable? How much do you like this? Talk about this. Yes.
I like things when...
And let me add something. Sometimes they're good for us. It's not the same as what they think it is.
To me, like to persuade us to be a doctor, for example.
Your good does not always coincide between your and them. You and them. Okay, nice, please.
I like it when they suggest me some jobs. They tell me, you can do that. We just have a discussion about it. Not, for example, say, oh, that's a good, you have to do that because you have marks or things like that. If you love something, you mustn't get somebody to persuade you to something else. The best thing is that they just tell you your options. You choose what you want, and they support you with what you choose to do. Not just
judge and criticize you about your choices.
I agree with what Maria said. Personally speaking, my parents tell me to follow my heart, do whatever what job I like. What makes me feel happy about it, makes me feel proud of it. And I think that every parent must do this.
I think I personally believe that we have to choose a work that we love, and we haven't talent with. But we have here our parents, because they have experience, and they can help us on our future.
If you ask how far this is acceptable, it's depending on how far they encourage you or discourage you to take the job you want. Of course, my parents encourage me to follow whatever career you want, but they think that some choices that you make are in their way wrong. This is acceptable because they don't tell me you should do this and this is the correct thing, you should not do anything else. And I like the fact that they're not doing this. They don't make my own future. They don't write my story. I'm going to write it. I don't let my parents. For example,
order, please. Order in the room. Okay.
For example, my mom is a lawyer. She encourages me to become a lawyer because there is a ground and there are money. But yes, to raise money. But I like reporting. For example, I play PlayStation, and I report. I speak alone. And yes.
Speak to the wall.
Yes, the wall. I shout. Yes. So I tell my mother that I don't want to do something that will provide me with money and be comfortable, for example, raise my children not with difficulties. And for example, when
so what is the criteria?
Yes, my mother used to be a teenager. She wanted to be a teacher. She loved to be a teacher, but then her mother, my grandmother, encouraged her, and not only encouraged her, to become a lawyer, because there were other criteria. These days, things were worse than these days. And people wanted to earn money so as to make sure that their children would be safe and comfortable in their lives. Now things have changed.
Yes. I believe that you will do in your life whatever you want to. I mean, there is no one who actually will tell you what to do. This is true. Because if you want to become a doctor, and you are good at it, I mean, if you have the strength to do it, you will do it, and you will be able to do it.
That's common sense, though. That's common sense, but does it always happen?
If you're a strong character, if you don't stand on your own 2 feet, and you let others, make you change your mind easily, you can't be really influenced by someone else. And sometimes if you are good at something, for example, you're a very good student, you have the knowledge to become a doctor, and you want to be a teacher,
or something, because we love hiring them. They will try to make you change your mind because they think, oh, you can do it, why don't you? But if you have a strong character, you know what you want to do, you will do what you want. But if you want, you probably listen to them.
Please. Yes.
I think that due to the economical crisis that we are facing, we don't have a lot of options. For example, I want to get a job as a stylist or something like that. Because a designer, yes. Because, for example, that's it. And I don't have. I will not get a job. Or if you want to be a teacher, an English teacher at schools, I will not have the.
You don't know what will happen in the future.
Should this discourage
I know,
you
but
from studying what you want?
due to the economic crisis, a lot of
youngsters, young people
will choose to be English teachers. We will be a lot of English teachers, and we will not have the opportunity to be in the position of a teacher.
You don't know how many people are.
I know, but I know. But nowadays here, for example, someone wants to be a teacher, and there are a lot of students that want to be.
Okay, let me just ask
You
you a
don't
question
know
then.
that all of these children are going to actually be a teacher.
Yeah,
That's why. I don't
Should it
have
discourage
options.
you
Because
from
I
saying what you
may
want?
be.
No.
Listen to Miss Linda, she wants to ask you something.
I'm asking you now, should, for example, the financial crisis or the state of a country or the whatever is going on here discourage you from studying what you want? Or if you study something is one thing. Working in the field is another thing. Because a lot of people study, and in the end they don't work in the field of their studies. I get it.
I think that it doesn't discourage me, because if we have dreams, we have to follow them. If I want, for example, to be a doctor, for example, I don't want to be, I have to be. It is my dream and I have to follow it.
I will have to make it come true.
Yes.
It doesn't distract me from what I want to follow in my life, because I hope that we're going to finish our studies and find a job in about 10 years from now. And I hope that things will get better.
Yeah, and look how things have changed within the last 10 years, and who knows how they'll change 10 years into the future. Do you mean it?
Sometimes we have the dreams and we study for them, we try to follow.
Yeah.
But if, for example, there is a crisis that we can't complete them. For example, there are some people who know 6 languages and have certificates and knowledge about everything, that they just don't work.
Because they might not chase it that much. You have
No,
to chase what you want.
No, in a crisis, you can't chase it.
You can go out, you can travel, you can
Why?
find opportunities.
Why to go out? Why to go
Because
out?
you can't find what you want here.
No, you have to fight.
Yes, fight here for nothing.
No, if we fight, there will
This
be
is the logic
in
that-
the future. But if we have the easy chance and go,
It's not easy. It's not easy to
It's easy.
Bill,
It's
Bill,
not.
here.
It's easy to go outside.
You don't have what it needs here. You don't have really.
That's why you have to fight. Make fight for what you believe and what you want to be in the best here.
You don't have the equipment here.
We go to another country.
Guys, I just want to say one last thing. My truth. I love you.